I had written an overture to an opera I was going to write called Rip Van Winkle. The opera, unsurprisingly, never got written, but the overture existed as a piano score. And my piano teacher, Miss Ardner, decided it should be entered in a young composers contest. And about 6 months later, a telegram arrived at my parents' house. Congratulations, you have won. And my parents and I are like, you know, what the fuck? What is this? What did I win? And then we put it together. Oh, the composers contest. I'm going to play at Carnegie Hall, a piece of my own composition. I thought, holy shit, I can't play at Carnegie Hall. I'm a terrible pianist, and I was. I couldn't play. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to withdraw from the contest, but I was not going to play. That was not going to happen. So I sent a request through Miss Ardner. Could I orchestrate my own piece? And the answer came back, yes, if you know how, you can do it. So I remember I had tonsillitis, but it had to be done that day. I sat down and I orchestrated it. I did know how. I made some mistakes I have never made again. What were the mistakes? I wrote a trumpet arpeggio that went bump. I didn't know they couldn't play that fast because I could do it on the piano. And then I realized it sounded like a blur. They tried, but they couldn't do it. Oh, the trumpet's not the piano. And I didn't make that mistake again. But I began to learn that each instrument has things it can't do. I knew a lot of what they can do from the orchestration text in my listening, but it wouldn't occur to a child that there are things they can't do. When my moment came, I got to walk up on the stage, sit down at the piano with the orchestra. I wrote an easy piano part for myself. I was very practical at that age. And when I ascended the stage, I thought, Danny, enjoy this moment because you're not going to be here again. My mother just stared at me and she said I knew after that you were going to be a professional musician. My parents had been connected to the music business. They knew what the deal was. I had a precocious interest. We had some scores lying around the house because material that my father had engineered for young people's records. He happened to have scores of. I don't know why, because he couldn't read them, but I began to make sense of them. I tested well, and Harvard was trying to improve its music department. The very best part of my college experience was getting in. After graduation, I worked on The Proposition in Inman Square. It was an improvised review. Lots of people came through it, and I got a lot of attention from the critics. Not all the favorable attention you want. Jerry Tolmer in the Post said, Danny Troob, even if he went to Harvard with those other fellows, can't be more than 14 years old. The Bergen Record said, there's a piano player for this show who appears to be 9 years old, but he can't be because even Mozart wasn't that good at that age. It went on. However, all publicity is good publicity, and New York Magazine said, there is a kid at the piano for whom the word only genius will suffice. Alan Rich. I was sitting around the house sulking, and my mother said, well, why don't you get in touch with your friend Pat Birch? She did Grease, she's doing a little night music. She doesn't want to hear from me. Maybe she'd be glad to hear from you. Did that ever occur to you? I tried it, it worked. My mom had very practical advice. If she had lived, longer, beyond my age of 33, maybe I'd be a star now. But she had a very good understanding of networking and how the business, how the world really works. It was natural to do dance music because at Harvard, I worked 20 hours a week accompanying dance classes. So I felt very qualified to work with dancers because I was just so used to being in the room. I had a comfort level. If you're a good musician, and if I may add, a good human being, you will make your dance music part of a seamless fabric that is the whole evening. And if you're trying to score points for your later career, they shouldn't let you get away with it, but sometimes they do. When I get into it, I'm there. I give myself over to it. That does make it emotionally exhausting, but it's really the only process I have. I have to be in the moment with the music, the lyric, the performer, the composer, the producer, and the production, and balance everybody's needs and priorities against my priorities and the players, what's possible, what can be done. And technically it's not difficult, but emotionally it takes it out of you.